Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1998 Jeep Cherokee Classic that the door won't close on. Up front is a 4.0 liter inline six, and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this XJ Cherokee for two reasons. First of all, it's been a long time since I've driven one, or at least driven one here on the left side of the vehicle. I did review a 1995 right-hand drive vehicle a few summers ago, but this is the tried and true American Cherokee, and I'm excited to be back in it. The second reason is the fact that at least this is all one color. This might not be the most showroom quality Cherokee you'll ever see, but these were dogged on, ragged on, used, abused, and put away wet, and so finding one in decent condition is very, very hard here in 2025, and we'll talk about why that is. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that crown jewel, 4-liter inline six under the hood. That is what made the Cherokee so great. Now, it was offered with another engine, the 2.5-liter inline four, but those weren't really that great, although I would love to drive an AMC 2.5-liter. This engine was also developed by AMC and goes back decades even before this. AMC actually put it in the old 1970s male Jeeps, although that was the 3.8-liter. They punched it out to the 4-liter, and it still maintained its reliability and its status. It's such a wonderfully reliable engine left over from the AMC days, and that was the driving force behind what made the Cherokee so great. Like I said, paired to it is a 4-speed automatic transmission. And again, that was part of the inline six, because if you got the 4-cylinder, it actually came with a 3-speed automatic. Here we go. It's not super happy to rev, but it will do it, and it'll do it time and 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 time again. That's the nice thing about the 4-liter. I would love to drive one of those early Cherokees with the 2.5-liter, but this is the better option. Of course, you could find these in a 5-speed manual as well. Last but not least, of course, the Cherokee is 4-wheel drive. You could find them in 2-wheel drive, very, very rare instances, but you could. And it's a Jeep, so 4-wheel drive is what you want. How does it feel to drive the Cherokee? Not great. Like most other Jeep products, it kind of wanders all around the road. You really got to babysit it and keep an eye on it, or it might get away from you. The ride is kind of hard. Everything is very utilitarian. Driving one of these in this format every day wouldn't be my favorite thing in the world, but it is still miles better than the Wrangler, and miles ahead of the Wrangler that was offered in this era. The TJ drove like a covered wagon, and so this was actually quite the upgrade and quite friendly compared to that. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 6 gauges. Off to the left is my battery voltage and fuel, tachometer and speedometer in the center, oil pressure and coolant temperature off to the right. The steering wheel does have cruise control on it. They're really low, these sort of low slung grip, low slung buttons for the Cherokee. And off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, headlight switch, and an aftermarket light bar switch. Moving on to the door, I really like how it's angled towards you for the power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. And moving into the center, we have 2 climate vents, an aftermarket radio, our climate controls, very simple, fan speed off to the left, where to send it in the center, and temperature off to the right. And then some more straightforward buttons. cigarette lighter, as well as our rear defrost, rear wiper, fog lights, and a 12-volt outlet. Automatic shifter in the center with our 4-wheel drive shifter off to the left. 2 high, 4 high, neutral, and 4 low. Ashtray down below it, and cup holders below that. So we'll do a big friggin' model test, and it actually does pass. It's not super deep, but it holds the cup holder in place and it fits, so it gets a pass for the big friggin' bottle test. Then we do get a center console and the seats. Now, the seats are cloth. I really enjoy them. They're this very warm, very forgiving, very inviting cloth from the 90s. They have these little specks of color in them. I like that fun little pop. It's almost like they're funfetti seats, but it's just very Jeep of the 90s, which is very home feeling to me, growing up with a 98 Ram. So I like to see that. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. All right, getting in the back of the XJ, it's not very graceful and it's not very spacious. Although I've done this so many times in my life, this is also the 4-door model because they also sold a 2-door Cherokee, which was even harder to get into the back of. I remember my buddy had a lifted 2-door and I had to get in the back. And as I was getting in the back, I hear from behind me, "Cradle, I just saw your whole ass." Yeah. So it's not great getting into the back of these things. So the 4-door, not jacked up to the sky, is the best thing to get into, but it's still not great. My knees are hitting the seat in front of me. My head's coming close to hitting what used to be a headliner. The seats are this, like, cloth, almost vinyl, like a weird leather maybe. I don't know if this is the original seat to this car. It might not be. We do have an ashtray down there, and I can come along on the crazy wild adventures that my friends are going to take the XJ on. I just might not be super comfortable. Now, we will talk about the back. However, the rear hatch is not working right now. So this does have the optional rear tire. The spare tire was actually mounted inside the trunk, and here's the trunk. But again, unfortunately, it won't open from the outside, so this is the best that I could do. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I like it. I like the XJs when they're in more funky colors. I think white is kind of boring, but I adore the overall look and appearance of the XJ. The angular, the square bodiness of it, I think looks really good and sort of has that timeless appeal. Although it is very characteristic of the 90s, it still looks good here 26 years later. The Classic was also a pretty mid trim of the Cherokee. It got things like the cloth seats, but the upgraded engine and whatnot. So it's definitely nice to see on its own. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving another XJ Cherokee here on the Shooting Cars channel? Well, I love it. I've always had an affinity for these Cherokees. I had several friends growing up who had them. It was one of the first reviews I ever did, was a purple one from my friend Ryan. Shout out to Ryan, wherever you may be these days. I hope you're doing well. I like them. The big selling point is that 4-liter. It is such a good engine. It is magnificent. It's lovely. It has all the power you would want in something like this, and it's dead reliable. It might as well be a hammer or a screwdriver. They just don't really break. And that's good when you want something to off-road in. You want something that's gonna be pretty reliable. Ideally, that would be, you know, a big benefit. However, that 4-liter, as beautiful, as wonderful, as fantastic it is, actually ended up being somewhat of the downfall of this generation of Cherokee. Because they're so reliable, because they're so great, they get used, they get bought and off-roaded, they get chopped up, they get built into crazy monsters, they get modified and changed, and the XJ is the nice friend in the friend group, the reliable one, the one that's always there to pick you up in the middle of the night from the bar that you probably shouldn't have been at. That's the XJ. The XJ is there for you. And so it's easy to take advantage of or forget how wonderful the XJ is, and it gets bought up by a teenager, and big fender flares are cut into the body, and giant wheels the size of boulders get shoved on the outside, and the suspension's modified, and it's cut up, and it's driven through a pond because it can. You can drive it through a pond, but then that pond water sits in all the creases, and it starts to rust, it starts to rot, it starts to fall apart. And so because the XJ was the nice friend, because the XJ said yes to everyone and everything, they all end up in terrible condition. You don't see a Ferrari with fender rust because they're always garage kept. They're not driven every day. They're respected. But also, I don't know many teenagers with fun, gut-wrenching stories about a Ferrari. I know so many friends that got these XJs stuck in the woods. I actually had a buddy get his so stuck they had to abandon it and come back with a backhoe. The stories and memories that people have in XJs are some of the best because this car is so capable and can do all of those things and was used and abused. It's included in so many stories. That reliable friend that picked you up, well, you probably have a great relationship with them now. They're always there, and so they're in all your memories. That's how the XJ is. It just takes a toll over time, but it was a life very well spent here for the XJ. I love it. I think I'll continue to love it, and I know you love it too. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Ted for letting me borrow his XJ Cherokee. I have truly lost track on the number of vehicles of which I've reviewed from Ted. He is absolutely wonderful. One of his latest acquisitions, and I'm sure it won't be his last. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys. Woo!